Hello, Truth Warriors, and welcome back to the Atlantic Underground. Now, if you want to know what's going on in the world, you just need to know it is being driven by one common denominator. Now, today's guests are the information hubs, and probably the only two you need to listen to daily on YouTube to know exactly what's going on in the world. Now, also as well, don't forget to protect your wealth by holding physical metals. We're all very big advocates for this. Silver, gold, silver being our favorites, of course. And we work alongside milesfranklin.com. And if you use the code AU, the initials for the Atlantic Underground, and also the atomic symbol for gold, you can contact info@milesfranklin.com and email them or contact them on the website. Give them that code. They're going to give you discounts on the silver and the gold that you're buying. And it's always a bonus anyway when you can get that cheaper. So welcome back again, my two great friends, Greg Mannarino and Lava. Don't forget, check out their YouTube channels. It's the best information you're going to get on a daily basis. How are you, everyone?
Very well,
good
thank
on
you.
this end. And look at Lava. Look at her. Just look at this woman. That's all you need to do. Just look at her.
She's fantastic. We know this.
She is fantastic.
Let's get straight into tariffs. We're seeing tariffs supposedly against Mexico and Canada and places like that. What kind of a game is being played here? What are the intentions? Are they looking to merge all the countries together under one financial hub as a precursor to their ever growing goal of a new world order and a one world system? What's happening here with these tariffs? What do you think, Greg?
Me? All right. Well, look, man, I'm kind of well-known. I'm not for tariffs. I think a lot of people who follow my work understand that. The mechanism is very simple. It really doesn't hurt governments. The tariffs are paid by the importers and exporters, and the price is passed on to we, the people. I know that a lot of people believe it's being used as a bargaining chip, and maybe it is. With regard to the tariffs here, with regard to Mexico and Canada, these were on for 24 hours. And then, of course, both nations did agree to strengthen their borders using the United States using their military and our military as well here. And great, this worked out well. I mean, with regard to the borders, I believe that we do need secure borders. There's no doubt about it. So some good did come out of that. But this is just, this was just. With regard to the Mexico and Canada, I mean, this was almost like a no-brainer that this was going to happen overnight. Now, the bigger challenge is going to be obviously with other nations, especially China here. Trump threatening tariffs on other nations around the world. Well, now, let's see. We're going to buy Gaza, I think, is the newest one. That's beautiful. Yeah. It's an amazing kind of a situation that's playing out here. Anyway, look, man, Trump has done some things that are good. There is no doubt about it. A lot of stuff that he is trying to implement underneath this. I mean, we're in a whirlwind of executive orders. People are now being flooded with things they don't understand, and they're not even being able to absorb what's happening. And this is obviously by design. In my opinion, this is the greatest deception campaign the world has ever seen up to very recently here. Underneath this, what's going on here, the push for AI, the elimination of the dehumanization of the system moving forward. I just talked about this. I know for a fact that we are going to see mass layoffs moving forward with regard to the corporations here. They don't want people that need breaks or need to have paid vacation, or they want to replace these people with AI. It's exactly what's going on. Massive push to replace your doctors and your nurses with the AI. This is true. People should look this up for themselves. There already is legislation to do that. People are being eliminated, as I've been explaining to people since time immemorial. The mechanism is very simple, and it doesn't change. It's exactly what's been happening since forever. And the central banks are in full control. They will continue to artificially suppress rates, destroy the currency, purchasing power, wipe out the middle class, a wrecking ball for the economy, and people are gonna suffer as they are right now. law of diminishing returns. I covered that this morning. They can't expect to do the same thing and expect the outcome to change. What is going to change is now it's already revealing the negative effects and the people paying for it. And it's not going to stop. I think us three here obviously understand that. And I think most people are starting to get it. But anyway, that's my take on the current situation. I want people to start paying attention to not where they want you to look. Okay, they want you to focus on this whirlwind of executive orders. Sounds great, beautiful. People can't absorb it all, whatever. But really look at what's going on underneath it here. Stargate is a massive, massive push to implement a dehumanized system is really what it's all about. And I urge people, look, don't take my word for anything. All right, just look into this stuff for yourself. Make up your own mind. That's what we all really should be doing.
Yeah, and the AI thing, I am concerned about the power and purpose of Stargate and DeepSeek. Lava, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something that is far more sinister than people realize?
The tariffs or the transhumanism?
Well, the transhumanism and Stargate and DeepSeek.
Absolutely, it's much deeper. And they've been planning this for a long time. You can go back, a lot of this was originally funded through DARPA, and you can look on their official site. It's a military site with the contractors that they've done. It's their research and development team. They've been looking at this for a long time, but in order to keep this short right now, I mean, they're coming out with this Stargate. They always call it something different, make it sound nice so that it's easier for people to accept and digest. But this whole transhumanism thing that they're coming out with, and they're tying this into the cryptocurrency. So now with the artificial intelligence they're coming out with, it's a perfect time to kind of slide this, under the radar, so to speak, with, what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's the short of it.
So on target. That's why everyone loves Lava. She's absolutely dead spot on here. I mean, people got to wake up, man. And I hope people listen to people like Lava. Forget Greg Mannarino. They should be focusing on this woman and you.
Yeah.
You guys are way ahead of the curve.
No. So, Greg, that guitar behind you, how easy would it be to pick that up and give us a song?
Not right now. But didn't I play for you guys once a while back?
No,
was that on your show or was that someone else's show?
No.
I did do that a while back. I picked it up and I did strum a couple of tunes out of it, but not today. Let's focus on this right now.
We know that this guy would. Here, can you see this guy here?
Oh Lord, yeah, that's me. That's 1,000 years ago. I was maybe 19 years old in that shot. Can you believe that? Who would have known? Who would have known, right?
What a fantastic image.
It's great. It was, but that was the thing back then. My God, 1,000 years ago. I can't believe that.
What music were you listening to back then, Greg?
Like mostly like radio rock, pop rock, some metal stuff like that. Whatever was kind of the popular thing at the time.
Yeah.
It really was a driving force behind a lot of what I was doing at that time. I mean, everybody was doing it. It was a cool way to pass time, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Back on track with what we're doing now. How is it possible to track and predict the stock market anymore when it's so manipulated and it's very difficult to get any kind of bearing on a company these days? Greg, I'll fire that one to you.
Man, look, I've been telling people for it feels like eons. There's no price discovery anymore. The market is being built on oceans of debt. It's a house of cards built over a pool of gasoline. It's the debt hyperbubble that's keeping everything afloat. The Bank of England now admitting that they were going to buy it all to prevent or halt, in their words, some kind of a crash. At least they admit it. The Fed's not admitting it, but of course they're all doing it. They're involved in yield curve control, debt manipulation on a massive scale, anything to keep the markets propped up here. We have so many issues at so many levels, and liquidity and the dollar and the central bank issued notes getting sucked freaking dry. A wealth transfer effect on a scale that we've never seen before, and we're paying for it. Is nothing real. I've been telling people for I don't know how long, there is not one asset class, not one today, that has an actual real price discovery mechanism behind it. It's all being manipulated here by the prospect of easy money. We're not allowed to have normal market cycles anymore, even economic cycles, and they're just pumping this thing and exacerbating the problem. People are loving. They're looking at their 401ks, looking great. The S&P 500 is very close to an all-time high. It hasn't gone anywhere since December 5th, the high of 6088. But look, I think there's a big effort going on right now between central banks to get in here and buy more debt to try to jar the market loose. They need the illusion. The illusion of the market is an immensely powerful thing. People see the stock market go up or their investment plans going up. They forget about everything else. They don't realize. Again, it's an astonishing thing. People understand, hey, look at my cost of living is going up, and they don't see what's happening to them. And this goes back to my theory, which I've been talking about for a decade, of maximum saturation. The system's maxed out. But what they're going to do is continue to pump it until, again, a moment of their choosing, when they stop buying all the debt. Then we get the implosion here, and we're going to see people's investment plans evaporate, and cash is just going to move from one set of assets into another. It's a setup on an epic scale, and it all plays into what Lava outlined for you just a little while ago. It's perfect. The timing of all this is just so impeccably perfect that it has to be. There's no way that this is a comedy of errors that got us here. This is all deliberate.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned global bond yields there. I mean, a global bond yields now, they were always a good indicator of what was happening, and certainly something that could alert people to problems with the market. Are they now manipulated to a level that they can no longer be a key indicator?
Oh, I believe that's true. I still think we can get keys from the debt market. There used to be an old Wall Street adage, the bond market is always right, the debt market is always right. We can still take a lot away from that, engaging using that little tool that I came up with, which is free to everybody, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. Look at what happened to it as of late now. We're out of the red zone, which was an extreme risk environment. Now we're in a high risk environment. And I think this is, again, a mechanism to push cash into risk assets, and it's not going to stop until it does. And I think I don't want people to start to think about when the market's going to crash, because again, the more pressure that they can put on the individual person, the more pressure the more they can squeeze the people and squeeze the economy. The mechanism, as I've been telling people for which seems like 1,000 years, is as they destroy the economy, the market's going to go up. And that's exactly what they're trying to foster now via the mechanism of artificially suppressed rates, currency devaluation. It's too simple. It's too easy to see this, but a lot of people don't get it. They believe that there's we're off to some utopian society and everyone's going to have a job and AI isn't going to do anything. People aren't even focusing on AI. They're not allowed to, again, because of the whirlwind of executive orders. But and it's the deception. It's all it is. It's always a deception. Politics. It's just a game, unfortunately. And I believe that Lava will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, Lava, people are expecting a financial crash in the way that they've seen previously. But in all honesty, it's most likely going to be some kind of a credit freeze up, a credit lockup. What will that look like when it happens? What are we going to see going on around us when this credit system freezes?
It'll be pretty chaotic. Well, Greg has outlined this many times, but people are so trained now to swipe their cards and have everything ready, and they're all about convenience. And it's gonna be chaos in short. Yeah. I mean, that lockup, once that locks up, there's no liquidity. I mean, you're talking on a level that is so massive that if it shuts, that's why central banks are so willing to, even like he said, admitting now, some of them are beginning to admit that they're willing to throw anything they can at it in order to prevent that from happening, because the distortions that are happening are so massive right now. The disconnect is absolutely ridiculous. And back to the bond markets, we're looking at those because outside of that, you're completely free falling. You need something to kind of anchor to and have any kind of an indication or something that might tell you to begin with. But that credit freeze lockup, I mean, when people can't get anything, they're going to panic. And you're talking about massive people, cities are going to be the worst. And this is not just a United States thing. People are so locked into this, the United States, it's going to be global. And I think we're seeing a bit of it in England first.
Yeah,
So they're going to be the canary in the coal mine, so to speak,
yeah. I
is what
wanted
it
to
looks like.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. We had this here this week. Barclays had their banks, no cash was going out, and even to the point where they suggest customers use the food banks because nobody could pay for anything at the supermarkets. Nobody could get cash out to be able to pay for anything. Is this just part of what I consider to be a test bed? Are they pushing the parameters of the system now to gauge public opinion? Or was this just a genuine mistake? It's too coincidental in my eyes to think that they were actually experiencing a technical problem. Are they now starting to push the boundaries to see what happens when they do this? Are these just little experimental phases that we're going to start seeing not only with Barclays but other banks as well?
Well, I mean, if I may, I think they are testing this for sentiment and reaction. And this is not the first time that this has happened. We watched this happen in Lebanon. We watched this happen in Cuba when they didn't have any cash coming out of these ATMs and you had exorbitant lines and then people start to panic. So they want to kind of test this out a little bit more, see what people are going to do
Yeah.
before they know what's coming so that they can manage this in the way that they want to and have their solution ready to roll out so that people will readily accept it.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yep. Let me
Greg.
follow up on that real quick. Lab
Yeah.
is dead on here. You are dead on here, both of you guys, and this is 100% what we're going to see more of this moving forward. They have to ease the people into this as they always do, and it's a way of preparing them for what's coming. And most people are going to be so blindsided. Again, they're putting people as they always do, and especially here in the United States, putting their faith in the wrong place as usual. Pulling themselves further and further away from the source, unfortunately, and it always leads to an epic disaster. But the going back to the issue of liquidity on the world, we're drying up very rapidly. The currency is being sucked dry pretty obviously. People are being forced. This is no accident to suffer and deal with things moving forward, but an eventual locking up of the system isn't that's what they're going to use, and but they need a scapegoat. I don't know what they're going to utilize for that. Maybe some major event and to blame it on. It can't be because of their policy or anything else like that. It has to be, people's minds must be twisted and into believing it's something else. But this is obviously all engineered, bringing us to a situation, a crisis situation. We say, hey, we got a solution for you, just like Labat said. It's always the same problem, reaction, solution. It's always the same, and the public people of the world are being manipulated on a scale that I can't even believe that we're seeing. But I understand that people like you and I and Lava, we understand this. We've been seeing this for forever. It's the writing's been on the wall. But now that it's all unfolding, I mean, at least to me, and I'm certain I could speak for you guys too, it's shocking. And to actually witness this, we're not too far off. I really believe this. They're not done creating dependency on the current system. And part of what we're seeing with regard to what you just brought up is part of it. Once they're done and they got everybody on that side that they can, then again, when the 1% and 2%ers are allowed to get out of here first, then we're going to see the stock market follow suit. And again, the greatest movement of cash in world history is going to happen very, very rapidly, with cash moving into commodities, and obviously the purchasing power of the currency probably going to near zero, where they can say, okay, we have a new system for you. Forget about executive orders that were signed to prevent central bank digital currency. We're just going to erase that because now we need it as we're being bridged here into the crypto capital of the world, not the constitutional money capital of the world.
Yeah, and I think what's scary, we're well aware that everything's already in place for this to happen. People are like, oh, everything's fine, everything's great, my shares are doing well, and everyone thinks that everything's good out there. But the reality of the situation is they have been building these mechanisms in the background with central bank digital currencies and other things ready for this to happen. I mean, when they decide to pull create this financial Armageddon, and we're very well aware that they suppress silver and they suppress gold. Is that going to be difficult to contain the prices of precious metals at that point? Are they just going to skyrocket, and all of a sudden the control mechanisms they've had rigging these markets for so long, are the gloves off at that point? Are they just going to take off?
Who gets that question?
I'll give it Greg. Go with Greg on that one.
Well, I've never ever wavered from how I believe this is going to play out. We are going to see a movement with regard to commodity prices. I mean, look, commodities are priced in dollars. The dollar is being systematically erased, as well as central bank issued currencies with regard to their purchasing power. And the mechanism here of manipulation with regard to the derivative markets is out of control. We understand. I mean, this it just came out recently with regard to these new crypto ETFs that are going to be coming out. It's just that Wall Street's going to get their hands on it and manipulate that too, as they always do. But the bottom line is, it's just too simple to understand how it's going to play out. I mean, the setup here is just a movement of cash from one set of assets into another, and we don't have anything that's real anymore. So I believe that the movement with regard to the price action of let's say gold and silver or platinum, palladium, it's going to be shocking. Absolutely shocking. People aren't going to believe what they're seeing, and people who, unfortunately, and there are many people who just don't like these ads. They either they're bots on my channel, and Lava probably gets the same thing as me, or they're really people who just don't understand why they should be, betting against the system, because that's how I look at it, as a hedge, realizing that we got to and must be on the opposite side of this trade. We can't all be on one side. You got to have people on the other side. And I can't imagine, really, unless someone could enlighten me, there's a better way to bet against the debt system than to hold hard assets. I don't know. I can't imagine a better way. But just following the movement of cash. Cash moves through these markets in predictable patterns. Central banks know that. That's why they're in here right now, buying all the debt, keeping rates suppressed, trying to keep that doorway open for cash to make its way into the stock market to support the illusion of roll rich. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to do, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. Lava, every country is having the same thing happening at the moment, and that's currency devaluation, which for everyone, it's being clearly seen as in the cost of living. If it's that easy to manipulate such a thing, would it be equally as easy to boost global economies? As is it fair to say that the central banks are choosing to deliberately destroy the economic system at the moment?
Absolutely. So, understanding how central bank works, they're buying gold for themselves, and then they're printing all of this trash notes that they've got out, and that's what they hand to the people to transact in. And understanding that they can print as much as they want, they're devaluing, and when they're devaluing, they're actually stealing from everybody that has worked for that, what they thought was that value. And the thing that kills me is they openly admit through inflation, through a percentage, that you're going to lose value by holding that currency in a year. And I think it's above the values that they admit. However, they openly admit, it's like in Las Vegas when they say, paybacks are 98%, and they brag about it like it's something good. Well, I'll pay you 98 cents for the dollar all day long. Yeah. And that's what central banks are doing to people. And everybody that's held for a long time, this is their method of stealing from them without ever having to. That's why it's called the silent tax, because every time they print, they're taking more value away from everybody else, and they don't trade in these. They have SDRs, they have gold, they trade in different assets between themselves. So there's a class of money for them, and then they give the currency to the middle lower class, so to speak.
Greg, as we move ever closer to this new financial system, do you see central bank ultimate control again, or will we see independent alternatives that people will feel confident in transacting in?
Well, they're trying to make people get comfortable right now with cryptocurrencies here, mainstreaming crypto, the deregulation of the banks, the merging of banks and cryptocurrency. Just going back to what Alaba said, she nailed it as usual. And what we got here is grand theft on an unimaginable scale, and people are sitting back and doing nothing about it. If this were just 30 years ago, people would be in the streets. Today, people have been so conditioned or dumbed down that they don't want to see it or whatever it might be. Again, we're a conquered society, especially here in the United States, none more so than here. Divided, conquered. People can't come together to elicit change. They're not allowed to do that. They've been stuck in their little boxes, unfortunately. But this bridge that is rapidly being built into the new system, the crypto capital, we don't want this. Not even ultra MAGA people want this. They want to return to a constitutional money system. The mechanism that Labo was describing is in full effect, and it's going to accelerate moving forward. There's no doubt about it. At a much more dramatic phase, as central banks collectively lower rates, as we hear from world leaders like Donald Trump, that I'm not calling him out. This is what he actually said, okay? I don't want any people to be overly sensitive about this stuff. He actually demanded that the Fed cut rates, but now they're friends. They're friends because they floated out Bullard. I'm not even going to say what I usually call him. We have a lovely lady here in the room. You know what I call him generally. I'm not even going to say it, but it's not a nice name. And he was floated out to say, you know what, don't worry, we're going to cut rates moving forward. So now they're all friends here. Of course, we're getting that moving forward. And people have no idea what this means because Trump's not going to tell them. Trump is not going to say, nor would a central banker say, hey, you know what, by cutting rates, that means we're going to suck your purchasing power out. They don't see it because they're not being told. People, unfortunately, don't do their own research, and I urge people to do that. Every single thing that we're talking about here, research it on your own. See if we're telling you the truth, the three of us here, or we're here lying to you because we're being controlled by some higher power. I mean, come on, man. No, I mean, it's just an incredible thing. A lot of people say that. But that's, look, it's their mechanism of dealing with it. They can't hear the truth. The truth is like hitting people across the face with a 2x4. They can't hear it. They can't handle it. They're so used to being lied to. So when they hear just even a little bit of truth, they don't know how to handle it. And they tend to lash out at people like you and Lava and myself who are trying to help these people. But okay, look, man, that's okay. This is a natural selection, in my opinion. We can't get through to everybody. We're doing our best to get through to those that maybe possess a higher level of intellect than the average guy or the average girl out there. And I think I really believe we're making a difference positively in the world.
Yeah. Do you think the majority of people around the world, and I wouldn't say it's weak-mindedness, I would say it's certainly the
fear?
Maybe there's fear involved, but levels of, education and a very system that has created the mindset that the masses have. But are most people out there unable to function without having some form of leadership telling them what to do?
Lava, take that one, I guess.
I think there is a lot of psychological aspect to it. And I think that when people get this truth, that they've been grown up and fed all of this stuff all of their lives, they kind of shut down because they don't know how to handle it. So the way that I go about it is if I can get in just a little bit, just kind of open their minds just a little bit. And I understand they can't take it, definitely not the first time. But maybe if they hear it more from me and then they'll hear it from you, and they'll catch on a little bit more. And that's my hopes, because it really is a barrage. If you've been raised, your entire life thinking one thing, they call it programs for a reason. You've been programmed to think a particular way. And going against that, it causes that psychological shutdown because people don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. And then they get lost and they look for, you see it in the markets too, in trading. They don't know what to do and something comes along and they're not used to that. We're going to see that again. We're going to see more of this.
Definitely. So. Now, Greg, we're well aware of the likes of Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. As a corporate monopoly continues to have a stranglehold on businesses right across the world, what do you see the future of the likes of mom and pop businesses being?
They're being wiped out. And it's the power is being consolidated. I've been warning about this for I don't know how long, years and years. I've been telling people that we're going to see a much greater consolidation of power moving forward, more power in the hands of fewer and fewer people. It's pretty obvious. The whole system is being reshaped. What I've been trying to explain to people for a very, very long time is the system is not being built up like a lot of people believe it is under the new administration. It's being deconstructed. It has been deconstructed piece by piece, brick by brick, element by element, and again being reformed into a whole entire new system with, and I've used these same words for 10 years, a whole new paradigm, a whole new set of rules, maximum control and power, again in the hands of very few. Clearly on a worldwide scale, going back to neo-feudalism, overlords and everybody underneath that has to serve the overlords, unfortunately. And that's where we're going. And then, of course, down the line, probably after you and I and Lava all are reunited with the Almighty Father in our passing, the next generation will go the other way. After, there's going to be rebellion and stuff. When we pass away, we're going to end up seeing, and not in our lifetime. In our lifetime, we're going to see this control mechanism. Maybe towards the end of our lifetime, I don't know, but I believe it's going to flip the other way, and you'll see again people rising up, and because history just repeats itself. It's just a cycle. Everything runs in cycles. Sound waves run into a frequency, so it's always the same. So we're going to end up seeing that. Moving forward, there'll be a rebellion against the tyrannical system that is obviously being built right now. But right now, the situation is there's legions of people marching willingly into this new system. They don't see it. As Lava said, it's a psychological attack on them, and they don't know what to think. So what they do is they turn to a particular leader. For example, it doesn't have to be Donald Trump, could be anybody. That they put their faith in there, and they believe this person has my best interest in mind. The elite, the 1% and 2%ers, the oligarchs, they have my best interest in mind. For anyone to believe that has been fully conditioned and psychologically taken over to believe that is actually going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, we are still witnessing, and to an accelerated degree, I believe, the deconstruction of the system and being rebuilt again as a totalitarian system of maximum control.
Yeah. Lava, do you think we're going to see the eventual demise of automotive powerhouses like Volkswagen as an emerging market of high quality Chinese cars are hitting the market now?
They're either going to shift or they're going to go out. So the last time we saw a lot of, GM, for instance, they got government bailouts, and that's another way that they can inflate. If you have a massive business and it can't handle its funding, I don't think personally that it should be bailed out with tax dollars. That's just not the mechanism. It's how we became so distorted in the first place. But they're either going to shift and change, or they will go out of business, get bought out, or close.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like, let me just expand on what she said here. So we got Trump with this sovereign wealth fund, no direction as to actually what we're going to do with it. Maybe by TikTok, maybe not. I think the sovereign wealth fund is going to be used as bailouts. Trump is going to say, okay, here we go. We build up this sovereign wealth fund using public funds, but it's controlled by the government, under their control. So basically what's going to happen here is you will more than likely see companies fail. Then it's going to be presented to people as, hold on a minute, everyone, we have an opportunity to buy this company that's very undervalued right now, and we're going to prop it up. That's what they're going to utilize this sovereign wealth fund for. I don't people understand that really that's what's happening. A lot of people have no idea even what a sovereign wealth fund is. And it's not explained to people. It's amazing, but that's what they're going to do. So I think here again, Lava nailed it to the wall. And I believe that we're going to have a situation here where maybe more than one sovereign wealth fund is going to be used as a piggy bank and sold to people. Hey, look, man, this is an opportunity because he says it is, or whoever's running the system at that time. Let's use our funds to do this. It's a public bailout. It's a backdoor bailout. Another one. People are being sold another line of nonsense, and some people are buying it. I ran a poll recently about the sovereign wealth fund, and most people stand against it because they realize what it really is. It's just going to turn out to be what we just said. It's incredible.
Back to music again. Lava, what was the last concert you went to?
Can't remember.
What about you, Greg?
Well, today, for those who may be interested, is Bob Marley's birthday. My last concert that I went to was probably Whitesnake.
Yeah.
I saw Whitesnake in Las Vegas. Wow, it's been a while now. It's got to be at least maybe 7 years ago. But I've been to other like local clubs. I mean, a concert. I'm talking about like a mega band here. I did go see Whitesnake. As you see, how I used to look back in the old days with that
Yeah.
picture. I was a Whitesnake fan. I mean, a lot of people were back then. Um, Unfortunately, I think when I went to see that concert, I was taken back a little bit because David Coverdale, he's showing his age a little bit with regard to his voice. He couldn't hit. He was trying to hit some of those notes he used to hit when he was much younger, and he couldn't. He could. I felt kind of like, wow, all right, whatever. I enjoyed the show. Don't get me wrong. And if they came around again, would I go see them? I might.
Yeah.
Just for some nostalgia. But that's probably the last, I would say, mega concert that I went to.
Yeah, definitely good. So we're constantly being told that the planet is overpopulated. Is the reality that we are overpopulated by unfortunately dumbed down people? And the change required to resolve the issues that we face could be a far greater movement of truth. Lava, I'll fire that one to you.
The way
I
you
love
put
her.
that, I'm
I love
sorry.
this woman.
So, going by population numbers, not IQ, uh, population in the United States is in decline, as well as most of the Western nations, and actually in Japan too. So we're watching a collapse, actually. But there are a lot of speculation about them wanting to decrease the numbers because they're saying the whole story about it being too much for the planet and the whole green initiative, which failed massively, by the way. So they're just putting out this excuse that they need to, again, it's another control mechanism, really. But what is going on in true numbers, if you look, the population is really in decline.
Yeah.
So, and that's a
Let me
problem.
play off of that real quick. This is
Yeah.
what's happening. Okay. We are going to see a vast reduction in the global population moving forward for multiple reasons here. The system itself, again, is being taken apart piece by piece. It's going to come down to a resource problem. Not that there aren't resources there, but availability of them via the system. Pandemonium industries locking up with the system here and whatever. And I also believe there is a much larger, darker element to this here, because it does come down to exactly what Lava just said. It's about control. They can control less people a lot easier than more. And it also comes down to dependency. That's why they are so bent on creating dependency on the current system. And people are surrendering to it. Now they have a little bit of hope that Trump is going to turn it around, but it's not going to turn around. The world economy is contracting at a massively, in fact, its fastest pace ever. And we're seeing global debt balloon. The greatest threat to human life today on this planet is the global debt hyperbubble. It isn't even nuclear war. When the global debt hyperbubble bursts, resources are going to become non-existent. There's going to be pandemonium in the streets, along with the credit lockup, as we discussed before, the flow of credit flowing through the markets here. People aren't going to know what to do with themselves. This is why I urge people to band together, get together with like-minded people, people that you can depend on. They don't want us doing that. They don't even want us looking at each other or seeing each other's faces. They want to distance ourselves from each other. We need to come together. We need to unite to elicit change and to prevent what is coming down here. And I sincerely, and I've been telling people this for forever, we're going to see a vast reduction in human life because of the global debt hyperbubble. The situation has created an artificial environment that cannot actually be sustained. If you look at global debt, if you look at, let me draw a quick diagram here. Let's say, for example, this is what global debt has done. It's gone up like a hockey stick. All right. So has, with the debt hyper ballooning, the population has paralleled this in the same mechanism. So you got two lines here. This is what it looks like. Top line, global debt. Bottom line, global population. What's going to happen when the debt bubble bursts? We all know the debt bubble is going to burst. When the debt bubble bursts, down goes the human population. It's a guarantee. This will occur. It's going to be not a very pleasant time for the people of the world.
So, Lava, we all know what we're all involved with now as we're older, but what did you want to be when you were a child in regards to a career?
She wanted to be who she is now. She's profoundly perfect, this woman. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't change a damn thing.
So when
I
you're,
loved
yeah,
puppies and kittens, so I wanted to be a veterinarian. And that's what I went to school for initially. Yeah.
wow. And yourself, Greg, what about you? What did you want to be?
I was kind of like lost growing up. Honestly, I didn't have any real guidance or direction. Kind of blew with the wind here and there. But I was always interested in in, in in making a positive difference in people's lives. And I've made a lot of mistakes along the line, like we all do. And we're going to continue to do so. So many things I regret in my past, stuff I've done, people I've hurt and stuff. And I've publicly apologized to all of them. You live and you learn, you grow up here. And for me, look, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I believe that I am making a positive difference in people's lives, as are you, as is Lava clearly here. That there is so few voices like ours. Really, I wish there was 1,000 times more trying to allow people to understand what's going on, what's actually happening to them. Because, like Lava said, they have no idea. They don't know what's going on. And it's deliberate why people don't know what's going on. They're not being told by politicians any truth at all. It's all a distortion of the truth by omission, a failure to disclose whatever might actually be happening. They know it all. Every one of them knows it, from the president on down, and every nation around this world. They all know what's going on here. It's the people that don't have a clue. And this is nothing new. This is goes on since time immemorial. It's an incredible thing to see. But what can I tell you, man? Thank goodness for shows like yours, brother.
Yeah.
And Lava. Forget mine.
And yeah,
I'm insignificant. I am in the exalted crowd here. I am just like this. And you guys are like this.
I don't know about that. So we'll wrap this up now. As always, been fantastic conversations, but I'll leave you with one question now for both of you. What are the core values you would like to see in people that surround you moving forward to make the world a better place? I'll go with Greg on that one first.
I want people to realize that we are all divinely created. We all have that divine spark in us here. And I want people to start to gain respect for each other. When you're addressing a person, and whatever their opinion may be, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily wrong because they disagree with you. We need to come together to bring about positive change in this world. It's the only way we can do it. They don't want that. They want zombies. They want conformists. They want people to think one way and there's no other way without question. This is not the way we're supposed to work here. But I want people to understand that, like we are all connected on this world here. We all have a responsibility to each other, and I sincerely believe that. And if we all adopted what I leave people off with every single Friday, to love each other, to care about each other, to be charitable to each other, we could change this world overnight. But unfortunately, we're a conquered society, especially here in the United States. There's so much hatred. There's so much division right now. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and this is also no accident why we're here. But people need to change. They really need to understand that things are not what they appear to be, and we need to start treating each other like the divinely created entities that we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Lava, what would you like to see as core values in people around you?
Well, I agree with what he says. So what I have driven towards is community. And that's the same thing with each other. We're so divided, segregated by any manner and means that they can. And we've kind of lost, as he was saying, that connection that we have to each other. They want to keep us divided. And I have another thing to say about that. So I think the number one thing to hold above any other asset is community. Yeah. So if you can stay in with your community, it's the most important thing that you can have to get through what is coming above everything else. And I also have something else that I'd like to say, and I think I'm going to irritate a lot of people when I say this, but I hear a lot about God's money lately, and I hear about gold and silver, and I like gold and silver as well, but it really isn't God's money, because when we come to that day, and that judgment is going to come for everything, they're not going to ask how much gold and silver you have. They're going to be asking, what did you do?
Yeah.
How did you help people? And where did you come from? So to me,
Bravo.
that's the accounting.
Bravo.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's it. I mean, people, I think, need to realize that there's a common enemy out there that suppresses all of us, regardless of, how they try and divide us and make us fight each other. I just want people to dig deep to the core of their soul. I want people to realize that that light that should be shining bright within them is far more powerful than anything that is suppressing us out there. I just want people to wake up, because basically the foundations that we lay today is what we leave as our legacies for the generations moving forward. And I think, if we can pass the baton to more people who are also waking up now, that, in history, when people look back, they'll realize that probably what we've done and the work that we've done now to try and wake people up and try and make people understand exactly how this system works, whether it's financial, educational, life itself. I think that that is something that I want to leave behind, and I'm certainly sure it's something that both of you want to leave behind as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bro, what are you, sir?
So thank you very much again, guys. This has been an incredible conversation, as always. I look forward to next time we meet up in about a month. Greg, where can people find you?
I'm everywhere, man. Just Google me. I'm not a hard guy to find.
Yeah. Lava, best place to find you?
YouTube and X and Discord if you're there, because I like to have, a little bit of feedback with that. And it's been an honor to be here. So thank you kindly.
No, it's a pleasure. I love having you both on. It's incredible. I'll put the link to both your channels within the show notes below. And until next time, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. As we always say here on the Atlantic Underground, we always say, believe nothing, question everything. Until next time, let's keep holding the fort and fighting the good fight. Thank you very much, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Lava.